On any used car lot right now, 10 cars are sitting there with nobody stopping to look. The buyers walking past them may be making the most expensive mistake of their year. These cars look weird, old, thirsty, or forgotten. But the drivetrains tell a stronger story. Number 1 proves bulletproof is earned, not advertised. Number 10, 2012 to 2015 Mazda 5. Walk past the usual crossover row, and this little Mazda starts making more sense than people admit. The Mazda 5 gets ignored because nobody knows what box to put it in. SUV buyers think it sits too low. Minivan buyers think it is too small. Sedan buyers think it looks too practical. That confusion keeps prices soft, even though the layout is exactly why it works. You get sliding rear doors, 3 rows and a compact footprint, a low loading height, and enough cargo flexibility for kids, tools, groceries, backpacks, and weekend gear without dragging around a full-size van. Current prices usually land around $4,500 to $12,000, depending on miles, trim, transmission, rust, and records, so normal examples sit well under $15,000. The bulletproof case is not glamorous. It is the 2.5-liter 4-cylinder, regular automatic or manual option, simple Mazda hardware, and a body that avoids fancy power doors or luxury systems that age badly. The engine is not exotic, the service work is normal, and the whole vehicle is light enough that brakes and tires do not get punished like a heavy crossover. Nobody wants it because it looks like a shrunken van. Smart buyers care because that same strange shape keeps it useful. I have seen these used by families who needed school runs during the week and furniture runs on Saturday. The car looks odd, but the job it does is honest. Check suspension clunks, sliding door tracks, engine mounts, rust underneath, automatic shift quality, rear seat wear, and whether the air conditioning cools front and rear. Keep oil changes steady, service coolant, change transmission fluid, and do not ignore worn mounts because vibration makes a good car feel tired. Choose this car when you need cheap cargo and family flexibility, but you do not want a full minivan or crossover payment. That is why this earns the word bulletproof the honest way. Not because every Mazda 5 is perfect, because none are. It earns it because the drivetrain is not working like a giant SUV. The parts are not rare, and the body gives you more usefulness than the market reward. When a car can haul kids during the week, fold down for errands, and still use normal 4-cylinder service parts, it deserves a second look. The buyers ignoring it are usually buying an image. The buyer stopping here is buying a function. One more buying rule here: never let the low price do the talking. A tough platform still needs proof, so start cold, drive warm, and trust the records over the story. The next car scares buyers because it plugs in, but the drivetrain record is better than the rumor mill. Number 9, 2011 to 2015 Chevrolet Volt. Fear sells bad decision, and the Volt proves it. Used buyers hear plug-in hybrid and picture a giant battery bill, a dead screen, and some dealer-only nightmare they cannot explain. Dealers often do not help because many salespeople understand a gas sedan better than a range-extended electric car. So buyers walk toward normal cars they understand, while the Volt sits there looking risky. Current prices usually run about $5,500 to $12,500, depending on year, mileage, battery health, and service history. That is cheap when you understand the system. The bulletproof argument is the Voltec drive unit and how it reduces stress. The gas engine often works far less than a normal engine, regenerative braking can stretch brake life, and plenty of high-mileage Volts have proven they can survive heavy commuting when the cooling systems and battery health are respected. It is not bulletproof because batteries last forever. Nothing does. It earns the word because the whole setup lowers engine wear and brake wear compared with a normal, cheap commuter. Nobody wants it because the plug scares them. The evidence says the right one can be a strong, fuel-saving tool. If you can charge at home, daily driving can use very little gas, while the gasoline engine still removes the range anxiety that scares people away from old pure electric cars. Inspection checkpoint. Check battery range, charging function, coolant loops, warning lights, service records, and whether it runs smooth in electric mode and gas mode. Do not buy one with mystery codes or a seller who cannot explain the charging. Keep coolant systems serviced. Use the right tires. Watch the 12-volt battery health and scan it properly before purchase. Choose this car when you want low fuel use and can charge at home without gambling on a random cheap electric car. Here is the simple garage way to think about it. In a normal commuter, the engine runs every mile. In a Volt, a lot of local miles can happen before the engine ever gets involved. That changes wear. It also means brake pads can live longer because the car is using regeneration first. The fear is battery cost, and that fear is fair. But fear without testing is lazy buying. Scan it, charge it, drive it, and judge the evidence. For this one, range matters less than behavior. A healthy Volt should switch modes cleanly, charge without drama, and feel consistent, not confused, weak, or lit up with warnings. The next one looks like a rolling storage box, and that is exactly why owners beat them for years. Number 8. 2007 to 2011 Honda Element. Strange shape turns shoppers away, but the Honda Element was built for people who actually use a vehicle. It has wide doors, plastic-heavy interior panels, a boxy roof, and a discontinued oddball image. Some buyers love them, but most lot shoppers still walk past because it does not look like a normal SUV. That is where the opportunity starts. Current prices usually sit around $6,000 to $14,500, depending on rust, miles, trim, and all-wheel drive. Clean ones are not always cheap anymore, because owners who understand them hold on tight. The bulletproof evidence starts with the K24 four-cylinder. Honda used that engine family across many long-running vehicles, and shops know it well. Add a simple box layout, easy cargo loading, washable-style cabin pieces, and a drivetrain that does not need turbo tricks, and you get something that survives messy life. Nobody wants it because the styling looks weird. The reason it keeps going is that the mechanical package is familiar Honda hardware, wrapped in a body that was meant to be abused. We have seen Elements with 200,000 miles still hauling dogs, bikes, tools, camping bins, and wet gear. They are not quite luxury machines, but they keep doing work after prettier crossovers start feeling fragile. Check rear door seals, rust underneath, rear suspension, oil leaks, all-wheel drive operation if equipped, air conditioning, and water in the cabin. Keep oil and transmission fluid fresh, service coolant, replace tired suspension parts, and fix leaks before they create mold or rust. Choose this car when cargo shape matters more than style, and you need a Honda that can handle bikes, tools, dogs, and messy real life. It is the car for a practical owner who would rather rinse out a floor mat than polish fake wood trim. The Element also proves a point about durability that does not show up in glossy photos. A car built to be cleaned, loaded, scraped, and used will often age better than a prettier crossover that was never meant for dirty work. The seats, floors, and cargo area can look used without meaning the drivetrain is finished. That matters for buyers who need a real tool. The shape is not stylish. The shape is the value. With the Element, condition lives underneath. The boxy body hides rust and suspension wear better than it should. So crawl low, look hard, and do not buy nostalgia. Next is the American box that gets ignored for the same reason it works: space. Number 7. 2009 to 2012 Ford Flex 3.5. Square honesty does not sell like fake toughness, and the Ford Flex pays the price for that. Most families chasing 3 rows search Pilot, Highlander, Sienna, Tahoe, or some newer crossover with a big payment attached. The Flex gets skipped because it looks like a refrigerator on wheels, the Ford badge does not excite crossover shoppers, and the wagon shape scares people who want SUV style. Current prices often run around $4,500 to $13,500 for many non-EcoBoost examples, depending on miles, trim, rust, and condition. The bulletproof case is specific. Buy the naturally aspirated 3.5-liter Duratec V6, not the EcoBoost if low-stress ownership is the goal. That engine is common Ford family hardware. The automatic is a normal 6-speed unit, and the vehicle was built for calm family miles, not boost pressure and showing off. Nobody wants the Flex because the shape feels awkward. The same shape gives wide passenger space, usable third-row seating, low step in height, and a cabin that makes long trips feel calmer than many cramped crossovers. The contrast is obvious once you sit inside. The market sees ugly. A mechanic sees common parts, simple power, and lots of room without Tahoe fuel bills. Inspection checkpoint. Check water pump leak signs, transmission shift quality, rear climate controls, suspension noise, power accessories, tire wear, and rust at the underside. Service transmission fluid, keep coolant clean, rotate tires, and replace worn suspension parts before the body starts feeling loose. Choose this car when you need real passenger space but refuse to pay the SUV image tax. I like it for families who need seats more than ground clearance. and comfort more than a tough front grille. If this kind of overlooked, reliable car hunting helps, subscribe. We prove the drivetrain before we ever call anything strong. Another reason the Flex stays interesting is how calm it feels with people on board. Some three-row crossovers look useful until adults sit in the back and everyone starts complaining after 20 minutes. The Flex has a flatter roofline, easier entry, and a cabin that feels more wagon than lifted truck. For highway families, that can matter more than ground clearance. Nobody wants the wagon look, but that wagon's honesty is why it works. On the Flex, skip the loaded headache if the basics are rough. A big cabin is worthless when the transmission bangs, the cooling system leaks, or the suspension rattles. Next is the Lexus people skip because it looks old, even though the bones are Toyota strong. Number 6. 2007 to 2009 Lexus RX 350. Dated screens make buyers forget good hardware, and the old RX 350 is proof. Shoppers want modern safety tech, giant displays, sharper styling, and that fresh crossover look. The older RX looks soft, rounded, and a little tired beside the new SUVs. Some buyers also hear Lexus and assume luxury repair pain. That fear misses the point. Current prices usually run around $4,000 to $14,000 depending on miles, trim, title, and service records. The bulletproof evidence is the 3.5-liter Toyota V6 paired with a conventional automatic. This is not a fragile turbo luxury crossover with expensive experiments hiding under the hood. It is Toyota family hardware with a quieter cabin, relaxed power, and parts knowledge that normal Lexus and Toyota specialists understand. Nobody wants it because it looks dated. It keeps going because the drivetrain is under-stressed. The platform is proven, and many original owners maintain them better than budget SUVs. That is the exact contrast we want. The market sees old luxury. A smart buyer sees Toyota bones with comfort. High-mile RXs are common because the engine does not have to work hard. The automatic is not a science project, and the vehicle was made for calm road miles. Check oil leaks, timing cover seepage, transmission shift feel, power hatch operation, suspension noise, air conditioning, and all-wheel drive service history if equipped. Change oil regularly, service transmission and differential fluids, keep coolant fresh, and replace worn struts before the ride turns floaty. Choose this car when you want a quiet, comfortable crossover with Toyota bones, and do not need a modern touchscreen to feel successful. I would rather buy an older RX with records than a newer crossover with a tiny turbo, unknown maintenance, and a payment that never sleeps. Just do not confuse Lexus with magic. A neglected RX can still be costly. The clean one is the bargain. The smartest buyer does not pay extra for the Lexus badge. He pays attention to the maintenance that keeps the Toyota hardware alive. A shiny RX with no records is just an expensive guess. A dated RX with boring receipts, clean fluids, matching tires, and a smooth, warm drive is a different animal. That is where the value sits. It is not trendy, but it can be a very calm way to own comfort. For the RX, remember that luxury parts still cost more than economy parts. Buy the Toyota bones, but inspect the Lexus extras before they turn comfort into expense. Next is the rough Chevy SUV everybody thinks is outdated, but the inline-6 has a serious record. Number 5. 2006 to 2009 Chevrolet Trailblazer 4.2. Old school can look outdated until you are stuck with a repair bill. Then it starts looking beautiful. The Trailblazer gets ignored because buyers see bad fuel economy, older SUV styling, a Chevy badge from a mixed era, and a cabin that feels behind newer crossovers. Most shoppers run straight to the 4Runner, Pilot, Highlander, or some soft crossover with a better reputation. That keeps the Trailblazer cheaper. Current prices usually run around $3,000 to $10,000 for normal 4.2-liter examples, with cleaner, low-mile trucks sometimes priced higher. The bulletproof argument is the Vortec 4.2 inline-6. That engine built a real high-mileage reputation because it is strong, smooth for a truck engine, and often keeps going longer than the body around it. The body-on-frame layout also keeps the SUV straightforward. The transmission and cooling systems still need care, and fuel economy is not your friend. But the engine itself is the reason it belongs here. Nobody wants it because it feels old, thirsty, and plain. Mechanics still notice it because the inline-6 can outlast the buyer's patience when basic service is handled. Inspection checkpoint, check frame rust, transmission shift quality, four-wheel drive operation. cooling system condition, front suspension clunks, oil pressure, and brake line condition. Keep transmission fluid serviced, flush nasty coolant, fix leaks early, and do not ignore suspension looseness, because these trucks can get sloppy fast. Choose this car when you want a cheap, simple American SUV and can accept fuel cost for easy repair access. It is not for someone commuting 70 miles a day. It is for someone who wants a basic SUV for rough roads, bad weather, hardware store runs, and cheap truck-style utility without Toyota truck prices. If the frame is clean, the transmission shifts smooth, and the engine holds steady oil pressure, the market may be underestimating it. The Trailblazer also wins, because almost every town has someone who understands old Chevy truck-style hardware. You are not begging a specialty shop to decode a strange European module. You are looking at a truck-based SUV with normal service access and a famous inline engine. That does not excuse neglect. It just means the right example is easier to keep alive than its reputation suggests. Rust and transmission behavior decide the deal. The Trailblazer rewards honest expectations. It will not sip fuel or drive like a crossover, but clean fluids and a solid frame make the math much friendlier. Next is the sport sedan nobody wants because Infiniti buyers moved on, but the engine did not. Number 4. 2009 to 2013 Infiniti G37. Depreciation can make good hardware look suspicious, and that is what happened to the G37. Buyers worry about premium fuel, rough previous owners, Infiniti depreciation, and the old belief that every used luxury sedan is a repair trap. Some examples deserve that fear. Modified cars, cheap exhaust cars, slammed cars, and tire shredders are not what we want. Clean stock ones are different. Current prices usually run around $7,500 to $14,500 for many sedans and coupes, depending heavily on miles, condition, trim, and modifications. The bulletproof case is the VQ37 V6 paired with a traditional automatic or manual transmission. No CVT. No tiny turbo working overtime. No fake luxury drivetrain experiment. It is a naturally aspirated engine with a strong performance record and huge parts knowledge. Nobody wants it because it looks like a risky old premium car. The drivetrain says it is closer to a long-life Nissan performance tool when stock and maintained. That last part matters. This car only earns the word bulletproof if it has not been beaten to death. Check oil leaks, gallery gasket symptoms, transmission behavior, differential noise, suspension wear, tire abuse, brake vibration, and signs of cheap modifications. Use quality oil, keep cooling healthy, service transmission and differential fluids, and buy good tires, because power plus cheap rubber creates damage. Choose this car when you want the most exciting car on this list, but you are disciplined enough to buy stock and inspect hard. It is the driver's pick, not the cheapest pick. The right one feels strong, balanced, and smooth at highway speed. The wrong one smells burnt, pulls under braking, wears tires unevenly, and has a seller talking too fast. Walk away from that. A clean G37 can be fun and durable, but only if you treat condition like the whole game. A G37 also separates real buyers from impulse buyers fast. If the first thing you notice is the exhaust note, you are already in trouble. If the first thing you notice is stock ride height, even tire wear, clean fluid, and no warning lights, now we are talking. The engine has the record. The owner decides whether that record still matters. Buy the calm car, not the loud story. With the Infiniti, stock matters more than color. The cleaner, quieter, more boring example usually has the best chance of staying strong after the honeymoon ends. Next is the minivan. Nobody wants to admit is one of the smartest buys on any lot. Number 3, 2011 to 2014, Toyota Sienna 3.5. Pride makes people buy worse vehicles, and the Sienna proves it every day. Nobody wants to brag about a minivan, so buyers with 3 kids and a dog still chase SUVs because they want to look tougher at the gas station. That image problem keeps high-mile Siennas from getting the respect they deserve. Current prices usually run around $6,500 to $14,500 for many normal examples, with low-mile or top trims higher. The bulletproof argument is the 3.5-liter Toyota V6 and conventional automatic. These vans survive because the drivetrain is proven. Parts support is huge, and the body was designed for actual family abuse. Sliding doors, a low floor, real third-row access, and deep cargo space make daily life easier than many three-row SUVs. Nobody wants it because minivans are not cool. It keeps going because Toyota built it to haul people and messes for hundreds of thousands of miles when maintained. I have seen Siennas with worn seats and ugly carpets still running smooth because the owner kept fluids, tires, and brakes handled. That is the family vehicle truth. The interior can look tired while the drivetrain still has years left. Inspection checkpoint, check sliding doors, rear air conditioning, transmission shift quality, oil leaks, suspension wear, tire condition, interior abuse, and whether every seat folds or latches properly. Change oil, service transmission fluid, keep coolant fresh, rotate tires, and fix door issues before they become expensive. Choose this car when you need maximum family use and care more about real space than looking cool at the gas station. It is the vehicle for buyers who carry kids, grandparents, sports bags, luggage, groceries, strollers, and half the garage. A three-row SUV may look tougher, but the Sienna usually makes the job easier. If you want proof, not hype, subscribe. We explain why the drivetrain survives before calling a car reliable. The other piece people miss is the cost per seat. A 7-passenger SUV may look cooler, but it often costs more, loads worse, and drinks the same or more fuel. The Sienna gives space without making every passenger climb into a truck. That is why families run them forever. Nobody wants the image, but everybody uses the doors, the low floor, and the deep cargo space once real life gets busy. On the Sienna, family abuse is the real issue. Snacks, spills, broken trim, and sliding door noise all tell you how the van was treated. Next is the quiet American sedan that turns dead badge stigma into a highway bargain. Number 2. 2003 to 2011 Lincoln Town Car. Luxury does not always mean fragile, and the Town Car is the big American reminder. Younger shoppers see old person styling, airport sedan vibes, fake wood trim, and a huge body, then assume it must be expensive to keep alive. Lincoln buyers moved to crossovers, and most regular shoppers forgot the Panther platform truth underneath. Current prices usually run around $3,500 to $15,000, depending on miles, rust, service history, and whether it was privately owned, fleet-owned, or livery used. The bulletproof argument is the 4.6-liter modular V8, body-on-frame layout, rear-wheel drive simplicity, and fleet history. These cars were built for taxi, airport, police-adjacent, and highway duty. The engine is under-stressed, the parts are common, and shops understand the layout. Nobody wants it because it looks old and massive. It keeps going because the hardware was designed for boring miles, not fashion. That is why so many survived brutal service lives. Check air suspension condition, rust, transmission shift quality, intake manifold leaks, steering play, brake lines, and evidence of hard livery use. Keep fluids clean, repair air suspension properly or convert it correctly, watch the cooling system plastic, and do not ignore steering looseness. Choose this car when you want the quietest highway ride here, and do not care that younger buyers think it looks old. A clean town car can float down the interstate in a way modern, cheap crossovers do not. It is not small, not sporty, and not fuel efficient, but for highway comfort, easy repair access, and old-school durability, it earns respect. The wrong one is a tired livery car with sagging suspension and rust. The right one is a private owner car with records, working air, smooth shifts, and a cabin that stays silent at 70 miles per hour. If you can accept the size, it may be the calmest, cheapest car on the whole list. The Town Car is also one of the few cars where boring service history matters more than age. A private owner car with steady oil changes, clean coolant, good tires, and working air suspension can feel more trustworthy than a newer car with a tiny engine working hard. The buyer just has to avoid the exhausted livery examples. The platform is tough, but it is not immune to abuse. For the Town Car, comfort can hide wear. Do not let a silent cabin distract you from steering, play, brake lines, tired suspension, or weak charging. Number 1 is the giant Toyota SUV buyers avoid for fuel cost, but the drivetrain reputation is hard to beat. Number 1, 2005 to 2007 Toyota Sequoia 4.7. Huge, thirsty, and old. Sounds like a warning until you understand what is under the hood. The first-generation Sequoia gets avoided because buyers see fuel cost, size, age, old interiors, and truck maintenance bills. Many lot shoppers walk away because it feels too big for modern daily life, and Toyota truck prices scare them before they inspect anything. That fear keeps some high-mile examples below newer crossover money. Current prices usually run around $6,500 to $15,000 for many first-generation examples, with rust-free, low-mile trucks sometimes higher. The bulletproof evidence is the 4.7-liter Toyota V8. That engine family built its reputation in Toyota trucks and SUVs because it is understressed, smooth, and long-lived when timing belt service and cooling care are handled. Add a truck frame and a conventional automatic, and you have a vehicle that can outlast newer crossovers if rust does not win first. Nobody wants it because it is thirsty. The drivetrain earns respect because it was built for work, heat, highway miles, family hauling, and years of abuse. This is not a perfect vehicle. Fuel, tires, brakes, ball joints, timing belt work, and rust inspection all matter. Bulletproof does not mean maintenance-free. It means the core hardware keeps going when maintained. Inspection checkpoint. Check frame rust first, then timing belt history, lower ball joints, radiator condition, transmission shifts, four-wheel drive operation, rear hatch function, and brake lines. If the frame is crusty, walk away. Keep timing belt service current, use quality fluids, service the cooling system, rotate truck tires, and fix suspension wear before it damages other parts. Choose this car when you want the strongest full-size SUV durability story here and can afford fuel, tires, and truck-size maintenance. It is not the choice for a short city commute or a tight garage. It is the choice for road trips, towing light loads, bad weather, big dogs, kids, gear, and people who want a vehicle built like an older truck. The reason it is number one is simple. It proves the close. The Sequoia's biggest enemy is not the engine. It is rust and owners who think Toyota means maintenance optional. The 4.7 can be a legend, but a rotted frame, an ignored timing belt, or tired front suspension can still ruin the deal. That is why inspection starts underneath, not inside. If the frame is solid and the records show timing belt care, the truck earns the long look. With the Sequoia, budget like a truck owner. Fuel, tires, belts, and suspension cost more, but the core Toyota hardware can justify the spend. Bulletproof does not mean perfect. It means when the market gives up on a car, the car keeps going anyway. Subscribe for reliable overlooked cars, simple inspection rules, and buyer advice that separates cheap mistakes from real long-term bargains. Buyer cheat sheet. Nobody wants does not mean bad. It means the market is distracted. The Mazda 5 is the weird little people mover. Volt is the fuel saver with a proven electric drive story. Element is the cargo box. Honda. Flex is the passenger space sleeper. RX 350 is the old luxury crossover with Toyota bones. Trailblazer is the inline-six American SUV. G37 is the driver pick with no CVT. Sienna is the family hauler nobody brags about. Town car is the highway couch. Sequoia is the thirsty Toyota tank. Buy the drivetrain, not the shape. Inspect rust, fluids, transmission behavior, cooling health, tires, and records. If the car is ugly but mechanically simple, that may be the deal. If it is shiny but neglected, walk away. Also, remember, Bulletproof still needs maintenance. Tires, brakes, fluids, belts, batteries, and suspension parts are normal costs, not surprises. The trick is buying a car where those repairs are worth doing. The closing rule is simple. Ugly can be profitable, but neglected is still neglected. Nobody wants these cars for image reasons, not always mechanical reasons. That difference is where the money is made. The smart buyer opens the hood, checks underneath, drives it warm, and listens for the parts that actually cost money. The market looks at shape. We look at the drivetrain. That is how you find bulletproof value before everyone else wakes up. A final shop habit helps. Price the first month before you buy. Tires, brakes, fluids, batteries, belts, and leaks can change the deal fast. If the seller refuses a warm test drive or inspection, the car is not bulletproof to you. It is only a guess with clean photos. The best deals are usually plain, stock, and slightly ugly. That is fine. We are not buying applause. We are buying engines, transmissions, cooling systems, and frames that still make sense after the sale. That mindset saves more than luck ever does. Bulletproof does not mean perfect. It means when the market gives up on a car, the car keeps going anyway. Click the next video.